Hello, I'm António Fernandes. I'm a researcher from Mountain Research Center from Institute Polytechnic of Bragança, Portugal. And I'm presenting the paper Stakeholders' Perceptions about Bioeconomy, a Bibliometric Analysis. The paper is structured in 4 sections, namely Introduction, Methodology, Results and Conclusion. Bioeconomy and circular economy themes are at the top of political agendas in many countries. Proof of this is the large number of policies and strategies formulated on the bioeconomy that affect all areas of life and the economy and that require broad social support. The application of these concepts aims to improve a number of sustainability challenges such as raw materials shortages and global warming, population growth, food security, poverty, or health. These concepts are perceived as fundamental tools for sustainable and inclusive economic growth and job creation. The transition to the bioeconomy is also seen as a means to achieve industrial competitiveness. The concept of bioeconomy is associated with sustainable development changes and involves transitions in both production and consumption within systems. Many of these transitions are related to the use of renewable resources, for example, forest biomass, to meet basic needs such as food, energy, and housing. However, all stakeholders must be aware of the bioeconomy so that they can successfully contribute to this transition. Furthermore, of all the stakeholders, the future generation is particularly important as they are also the managers of this area in the near future. Society's awareness and perception of the bioeconomy, biologically based products and processes, and the sustainable use of resources can contribute to environmental sustainability, but intensified efforts are needed to increase their public acceptance. Therefore, it is proposed to carry out a bibliometric analysis by the methods of binary counting using the technique of co-occurrence of terms, with the object of grouping the existing literature into clusters, to know in a broad and deeper way the themes developed in the literature within the scope of perspectives on bioeconomy and to identify the main lines of research on this topic. This is a quantitative study that involved the development of a bibliometric analysis based on a search carried out in June 2022, which focused on publications available in the Scopus database. In the search, only publications that contained in the title, abstract, or keywords the bioeconomy and perception words were considered. Subsequently, a filter was used limiting the search to 3 major scientific areas, namely environmental sciences, social sciences and agriculture, and biological sciences, with 81 publications being counted. Finally, only documents of the article and review type were considered subject to blind peer review, totaling 67 articles. Initially, a descriptive analysis was done involving the calculation of absolute and relative frequencies and growth rates. Subsequently, to group the literature into clusters, the VOS viewer software and binary counting methods were used, using the technique of co-occurrence of words to select only the documents where the words appear. In this work, the minimum number of occurrences was set at 5. In summary, the unit of analysis was the article, and the variables corresponded to the words included in the title, abstract, and keywords. These procedures aimed to contribute to the construction of a map that showed the associations between the various words and their grouping into thematic clusters. Figure 1 shows that the last 3 years were the most relevant both in terms of published articles and in terms of the number of citations. It should be noted that in 2022 only the first 5 months of the year were included in this analysis. However, the number of citations is already over 100.5. The first publications are dated from 2011, namely 3 articles and 2 citations. Over the period under analysis, annual average growth rates of 10.5% and 48.7% were recorded in the number of published articles and in the number of citations, respectively. Regarding the publishing sources, 32 were identified. Figure 2 shows the top 5 of publication sources. As can be seen, the journal with the highest number of publications is Sustainability Switzerland, with 10 out of 67, that is 40.9%. Among the authors' affiliation institutions, the one that stands out the most out of 104 identified institutions is the University of Helsinki with 14.9%, an institution of great notoriety located in the city of Helsinki in Finland. The authors of the articles are associated with 21 nationalities. 4 countries stand out with the number of articles published above 10%, namely Germany, which registered the highest percentage of publications with 29.9%, followed by Finland with 23.9%, Austria with 11.9%, and the United States with 10.4%, as shown in Figure 4. Regarding the scientific areas of the published articles, 14 scientific areas were identified. The 5 areas with the greatest representation in terms of publications were environmental sciences with 73.1%, social science with 44.8%, energy with 43.3%, agriculture and biological sciences with 38.8%, and engineering with 16.4%, as shown in Figure 5. 54 funding agencies were identified. Funding resulted from programs and/or institutions such as the European Commission, Horizon 2020, Framework Program, among others, as you can see in Figure 6. Taking into account the analysis of thematic areas and using the VOS viewer software, using the binary counting method that selects only the documents where the words appear, A total of 2,327 words were identified. Subsequently, the number of occurrences of a word in the total of analyzed documents, that is 67 articles, was defined as 5, resulting in a total of 98 words. Of these, words with more than 60% relevance were selected, resulting in a total of 59 words distributed across 4 thematic clusters, as you can see in figure 7. The first cluster is comprised by 18 words, red color in figure 8, namely actor, biomass, conflict, economy, Europe, farmer, gap, Germany, interview, lack, measure, number, practice, science, Slovakia, view, willingness, and would. This cluster includes articles related to the perceptions about the bioeconomy of the stakeholders from the timber sector and the different actors from the field of forest action closest to the bioeconomy area. The second cluster includes 14 words, green color in figure 8, namely bioeconomy perceptions, biofuel, data, forest sector, future, group, importance, information, opinion, order, respondent, society, student, and type. In general, this cluster includes articles related to the perception of the bioeconomy of civil society in general and higher education students in particular, as well as their opinions on the importance of the forestry sector for the bioeconomy. The third cluster consists of 14 words blue color in figure 8, namely case, circular bioeconomy, citizen, dimension, discourse, energy, Finland, framework, goal, innovation, sustainable bioeconomy, transformation, understanding, and way. These clusters comprised articles that consider the bioeconomy to be the innovative way to go to ensure the sustainability of the planet, highlighting the importance of knowing the perceptions and raising awareness of all stakeholders to ensure the successful transition to the bioeconomy. Finally, the fourth cluster includes 13 words, yellow color in figure 8, namely addition, analysis, attitude, bio, change, circular economy, consumer, food, product, public perception, sample, time, and topic. In this cluster, articles related to the perception of the bioeconomy, consumer attitudes and behaviors regarding the acceptance of new biofood products resulting from the circular economy were included. This study involved a bibliometric analysis on the perception of stakeholders about the bioeconomy, based on 67 articles selected from Scopus database. The objective was to group the literature into clusters of thematic areas. In this context, 4 clusters were identified. The first cluster comprised the articles referring to the perceptions about the bioeconomy of the stakeholders in the timber sector and of the different actors in the field of forestry action closest to the bioeconomy area. The second cluster includes articles related to the perception of the bioeconomy by stakeholders, namely civil society in general and higher education students in particular, as well as their opinions on the importance of the forestry sector for the bioeconomy. The third cluster comprised articles that considered the bioeconomy to be the innovative way to go to ensure the sustainability of the planet, which highlights the importance of knowing the perceptions and raising awareness of all stakeholders to ensure the successful transition to the bioeconomy. Finally, the fourth cluster includes articles related to the perception of the bioeconomy, consumer attitudes and behaviors regarding the acceptance of new biofood products resulting from the circular economy. Thank you for your attention.